Hey, Donny, 9 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, Innovation Fika, my innovation coffee break, where I get to meet incredible people talking about incredible things and usually connected to innovation and things to do with startups and scale ups, which is kind of what I do here at the university, where I'm broadcasting live from KTH, which is the largest tech university in Sweden. And today we're going to talk about a very important subject. Not only are we going to talk about scale ups, I mean, starting something is super simple. A startup is the easiest thing in the world. You can start a company in an hour, no problem. Scaling and growing a company, that's hard. Surviving a company, that's the hard part. So starting something is easy, scaling is hard. And in Europe, we have a super hard time in scaling in Europe. And we've had this 6-month thing about, it's all about the market and we have a fragmented market, but there are other factors as well. I've been talking about leadership for a long, long time. I'm in a national project now in Sweden regarding leadership and how we have to reintroduce the concept of teaching leadership in startups to get them to be scale-ups. Because if we're going to build the companies of the future, we need to build people who run the companies of the future. So with that, I have nobody. Oh, where's the overlay? There we go. Boom. I have a guest, the guest, to talk about this. Tracy Clark, welcome. And you're from England, London today.
From London. Good morning, Donny.
Welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here. This is great.
So lovely to have you, to be with you. And as you said earlier, we've already.
I know, we've talked for half an hour, so we're done. So we should have recorded that and just replayed it. But you are from England, and we've known each other for 3, 4, 5 years. LinkedIn acquaintances. But this is the first time we are actually here live.
It is.
It's fantastic. It's awesome. And just as our dear friend Yash here from India. Hi, Yash. Good morning. As you come online, everyone, say hi, where you're from, because we want to get the networking going and we want to get the Q&A going. And that's why this is a live show. I could easily, everybody keeps on saying to me, Donny, you have to stop doing live shows. You have to do recorded things so we can cut and they can be, pixel perfect. But hey, I like kind of the live thing. Things go wrong. My camera stopped and now it's on again. But I want the live interaction as well. Here is a super entrepreneur, Bita, one of my favorite female entrepreneurs. She is a superwoman. So great to have you here online here, Bita, as well. Anyway, Tracy, coming back to you then, my main guest for the day. First question, same question as everybody else gets. Tracy, who are you and what do you do?
So I am currently a leadership and high performance coach. Give you a bit on my background. My brother and I had our own company in the oil and gas event space. It was international. We worked all over the world. We grew the company and sold it for an 8-figure sum. And then I transitioned to becoming a coach. And it was this transition. Well, it was in the exit, the scale to the exit, that I really realized that we got a consultant in. I realized that maybe we needed something else to get us to the next level. And Donny, you hit it on the head in that introduction. We were good at the product. We were good at the profit. But this gentleman helped me see that maybe we were leaving potential on the table with our people. And it just sparked this curiosity inside me. And I went off on what I discover and look back on as a treasure hunt. It was like, how do I unlock this latent potential, not only in myself, but in my team? And that's led me to train as a coach and do all sorts of qualifications and to really double down to think about what is it that drives success? What is it that drives results? And that's how I came up, partly how I came up with these indicators of success, which we're going to talk about, and the model that I overlay that with.
It's fantastic. And I just wanted to say hi and good morning to two old friends, Anna, Sebart. We have such a wonderful history, me and Anna, and I'm so happy to see her here online. And of course, there we go, Andrea von Popcorn Time, a dear friend of mine as well, who I'm working with again. But Anna Sebart. This is actually a fun story because I was working with Anna in the same company, and she was my number 2, and I was the CEO, and she was the COO. And like halfway into the game, I went sort of, hey, you're way smarter than I am, so you should be CEO. I'll go down, I'll do the operations stuff, and you could be the brains here. So we actually switched places, which of course everybody else thought I was, was, don't you want to be CEO? And I said, no, if there's somebody else who's more capable than I am, they should be CEO. So we actually switched places, which was actually really, really cool. So I'm just so happy to see you here again, Anna. And Tony again, servant leadership is a contributing factor, Tony. Awesome. Yes, it is. We'll be talking about that as well. But coming back then to Tracy, you've devised this thing, the formula with the 6 indicators, right, of leadership for success, or scale up, or moving, how to run it. And then those 6 indicators, how did you sort of come up with the indicators?
It's been a process, as I mentioned. It's been a bit like a treasure hunt. So it's been a journey of discovery. And as I've applied this to myself and then also to the clients I work with, and I started to think about, what is it? What are those ingredients or elements that make some people shine? And then what are the elements that are missing that hold people back, that get them to feel stuck, and where the self-doubt is coming in? So I started, it's evolved. So clarity, conviction, and commitment were some of the obvious ones that I was like, yes, you need clarity. And as I mentioned to you earlier, I look at leadership and success about being leadership. A lot of people think of it as leadership of others, which it is, but leadership needs to start with leadership of self. So I apply all of these 6 elements first to going, let's put the mirror up to you. I know it can be uncomfortable, but this is where the magic happens. This is where you're going to grow. And so I apply all of these to looking at yourself. And as I say, shall I share my tree?
Sure, share a tree.
So this gives you a bit of an example of how here we go.
Here we go.
Okay. So I apply these 6 indicators, which I will tell you what they are, through this model. I think that most people look at, okay, what do I do above the ground? That's visible. That's the trunk, the strategies, the actions, and the skills. Now, that is important. Don't get me wrong. But if you think about it from the perspective of a tree, if a tree has a trunk but no roots, and then a storm comes along or a hurricane, that tree is going to fall over. So what it needs solid, stable roots to hold it strong and to enable it to grow even further. So I started to see that the real magic was when I applied these 6 indicators below the ground and into the roots. And I think of this really in 2 levels. The values are one. Then you've got the mindset. Now, Donnie, on my treasure hunt, I remember coming across mindset and thinking, oh my goodness, this is the Holy Grail. This is what we need. And I realized it's important, but it's not everything. So I carried on my treasure hunt and I realized that there was more. And that comes down to the deep level of the roots. And that's around how you show up yourself and as a leader. That's grounded in your self-concept. So how do you think about yourself? So this is where the magic happens. When you apply these 6 indicators to the depths of the roots and you get that solid basis, then that has like a domino effect on the rest. When you scale to Donnie 2.0 or 3.0, Donnie, who's aligned with his vision and values, that's where you start to really move the needle.
Yeah, I completely, go ahead, sorry.
And then there's just one thing I've got down there, self-awareness. That is crucial. That is, again, you and I were talking about this earlier. We were saying that people don't put the mirror up to themselves because there's the fear, oh goodness, what am I going to find out? What am I going to look like? But actually self-awareness is what is going to trip you up. If you don't understand your impact, then you're going to slow yourself down.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree. And we had a wonderful chat as we came into the before here. I mean, And I vented my I vented my frustration as well, because my own background, I mean, in the 80s and 90s, was a lot about leadership, right? Because that's what I sort of started in the army, and then running my own companies. And I just, that's a reflection then on what we're talking about now today, is that, so in the 80s and 90s, there was a lot of talk about leadership development, and you started working in a company, and you went to a course and whatever, and there was this huge industry of teaching people actual leadership and what it takes to be a leader as a part of a group. And then when this whole sort of startup thing erupted on planet Earth, we had suddenly we have done everything wrong for 20 years when it comes to these poor startups. Is that we're not only about, it takes a weekend to start a company, you raise $1 million and you're done. It doesn't. It takes 10 years. But another thing we did was we just took young people straight out of school. We said, start a company, raise $1 million, and then employ 200 people and run. There was nothing about how to run people. Nothing about, it was all about product market fit, lean startup, product, profit, and nothing. I mean, okay, we said culture. We talked about culture, but that's the only thing. There's nothing about how to be a good leader in lean startup in that book or anything else, right? And we completely lost track of that. So that's a big frustration. And I feel today, when young people are trying to start things and are talking about mental wellness and being grounded and the whole thing, I'm going sort of, where did we lose? We lost the ball, the puck, whichever sport you want to, completely. And we've left them to themselves to teach themselves about this, when this is old knowledge that we completely stopped teaching, which is a huge frustration. So I'm so glad that you're working on this. Ali Juma, look at this, an alumni. This is great. Where can I learn about it? Well, actually, I might have a link here. I might have a link to Tracy's Score app as well, where you can score yourself on these 6 indicators. And there will be lots of information there as well. So tracyclark.scoreup.com. You'll find lots of there. And I will actually do this. I will add the indicators online here, and we can talk about them, because these are your 6 indicators that you talk about, right? So let's just talk our way through these 6 indicators when it comes to how to, what to work with as I am building an organization. So let's start with clarity.
Clarity is crucial. And I was looking through the results of my scorecard yesterday to see were there any surprises. And clarity was the one that came out consistently the lowest. So people aren't clear on, well, if we start on the vision, are they clear? Not 100%. Are they clear when we go to the tree of that version of them who will achieve that vision? No, that's what I saw, a real, really, really low ratings on. So clarity is crucial. Unless you know where you're going, and unless you know how you need to show up, and Donny, what you stand for, your values, it's pretty difficult to move forward, because otherwise you're working to sort of a moving target. So get that clarity, and then that is crucial. So that starts with the clarity and why I really anchor that in. And then you move around to conviction. Now, conviction to me is that rocket fuel. Unless you believe firstly in yourself, and that you're able to achieve this, you're not going to be able to convince anyone. Think about it. If you go and talk to someone, and you're saying some words, but you're saying it with no energy and no belief, people feel it. You need not only the words and the pitch, but you need I believe in this, and I know that I'm the person that's going to help you, let's say investor, take this business from here to here. And that conviction is also makes you magnetic to the people you hire. Don't people want to work with someone who believes in them and where they're going? That's what I believe. And I also believe, Donny, that conviction becomes really important when you're leading others, that they feel your belief in what you're building, but that they also feel your belief in them.
Of course.
When you feel believed in, don't you go an extra mile? Doesn't your thinking open up more? For me, it certainly does.
Yeah, I had on that one. I had a incredible interview with he's actually a professional. I was going to say award-winning, champion-winning hockey coach.
Okay.
He won the Swedish national championship last year in Sweden. He won the junior world champion silver medal last year as well. And his whole leadership, and he didn't want to be a coach. He was always a player, but then he had an injury, and he was an assistant coach, and then they was like pushed in front of other people, and it was like, I hate standing in front of other people. But his whole leadership sort of doctrine is about belief, showing belief in the people he's working with, and especially after they've missed 2 or 3 times, he has to believe in them even more, because the day he stops believing in them, they stop believing in themselves.
I couldn't agree more. I think that is just spot on. And I think it's so important for leaders to realize this, because, we work we live in an era where there's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress. And I think leaders can sometimes go into the panic and the anxiety, and without knowing it, they can leak their self-doubt.
Yeah.
And that has a terrible ripple effect.
Yeah.
So really getting the clarity, if we go back to clarity on self-awareness, what are my blind spots? What is that impact that I have? That is something that is so important. And you probably got lots of stats on this as well, Donnie, but there was one study done on self-awareness with 60,000 leaders. And they were asked, do you believe you're self-aware? 80%, of course, came out and went, yeah, of course I am.
They were guys as well, so they of course said yes.
Probably. And then, do you know what the result was? 15% were self-aware. So I encourage anyone, if you think you're self-aware, you might be, but be open-minded and go, there might be a little bit more in there that I might learn about myself.
Yeah.
And if I find that out, what impact might I then have? What positive impact might I then have on my team?
Let's go. We're going on here because I'm looking at the time here as well. This is the world's fastest half an hour. So commitment.
So commitment is crucial. Commitment, when you're all in, that helps you to be resourceful, to find solutions no matter what. I'm going to skip playfulness for 1 minute because I want to come back to that. That was my surprise one. Trust is like an invisible force. It builds speeds, it builds buy-in, it builds momentum. And courage, I believe we need courage more than ever in the society we live in, to actually be brave, look at ourselves and step out of our comfort zone and challenge assumptions that are out there that we are just making, and they might be wrong. So
I'm on courage today. I mean, now this is being recorded, and for people in years and years and years, they'll be watching this forever, of course. But today, in the way of the world, we are lacking so much courage. I'm seeing so much cowardice in the world, where people are just, not. I don't want to go political here, but I'm seeing so much people not showing courage in actually stepping up and trying to do a good thing, and instead doing the opposite and just siding with who they hope will win, which I do not. That's not courage in my book.
Yeah. And courage is actually, when I look at the results, is the one that comes out the lowest for the overall score. And then the last but certainly not least indicator is playfulness. Now, Donnie, this one surprised me, and I kept coming back to it, and I was like, does it fit? Will people think it's appropriate? Because often people think play is not serious, is not serious, and it's frivolous, and where does that fit in business? But I've actually found that it's a superpower and gives leaders a strategic advantage. Mm-hmm. And I discovered it very intuitively by noticing that when I was coaching my clients, and I'd often see them stressed and they've got a lot of pressure and juggling decisions and all sorts of things, I noticed that 2 words would come out of my mouth that would get them to relax. Their shoulders would drop. The energy would shift between them and me. And suddenly their thinking would open up. And those two words were, let's play.
Yeah.
And I noticed time and time again, Tracy, let's play. Oh, and again and again. So I've really doubled down into going, what happens when we say those words and we move into this more playful environment is it's like it provides an arena or a space that's safe. And they're able to open up, they're able to think about challenges that are really tough. And that opens up their thinking. Yes, we have a laugh too, and that's all
Yeah.
fun.
But
But it opens up the thinking, and that is what is so crucial.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I teach, I mean, organizational creativity and innovation in large organizations as well. And it always comes back to that the being able to be playful,
yeah,
note the word being playful is the key to creativity. It's you, as you said, the shoulders come down, you relax. It's okay to come with a crazy idea. But as you said as well, people mistake playfulness with being silly and stupid, and that's not the same thing. You can be super serious yet playful, and then the whole, the whole quote of never take your job seriously, but always never take yourself seriously, but always take your job seriously. So sorry, I mixed those up. So, I mean, I think that's so good. And what I just commenting on all of the indicators here is that what I love about the way you've sort of wrapped it up is that all of the indicators we can find ourselves saying in the startup world, because like in, when we're talking about pitching, we say, oh, you have to show confidence and conviction, and in the vision you have to show clarity and blah blah blah, and then you say we have to commit, otherwise we won't invest, and the playfulness is the creativity, and then showing trust, and then being encouraged, and the whole thing, everything sort of is there. But every time we use them in the startup world today, they're all about something very functional and
yeah.
never about me as a person, as a leader. So what I love about what you've done is, I mean, this is actually bringing it into me as a person, and how I can actually work with myself in becoming a better leader as well. So I love the way you've sort of got everything together.
It brings it into, and I'm writing a book on Let's Play, and I've really been thinking about this. It's bringing it into a state of mind, but even deeper, a state of being. So all of these elements become who you are and how you show up. And that's what I think is so important. And if I just go back, one thing that I've really realized recently is that playfulness is the amplifier for each one of these, the other ones. And I think of playfulness as that state of mind or state of being that has three threads: intense curiosity, radical open-mindedness, and proactive experimentation. So when you apply those three threads, for example, to clarity, you start being intensely curious and playful about what else might be possible.
Yeah.
And open-minded, what might I not be understanding about myself and the impact that I have? And then you take it to go, okay, I've got some nuggets, I've got some learnings. How can I now put it into practice? So for me, it's embodying this playful state of being that is what amplifies each and every one of these and helps you show up as a leader and helps you then have a positive ripple effect on everyone around you.
Yeah. And you have a tree, which is a part of the magic as well, because have you heard the bamboo principle, where you talk about bamboo? Because I mean, bamboo grows like inches per day, and we think that we just plant a bamboo seed and then suddenly it starts growing, but it doesn't, because when you plant bamboo, nothing happens at all for like 6 to 8 months. Nothing happens, and then suddenly one day it starts growing like mad. But what's happened in 6 to 8 months is the root system. It spends 6 months only developing roots, and when it feels it has a strong enough foundation, it starts growing, and then it grows like mad, and it's very flexible, and it can take all the wind and everything like that. So the whole principle of the tree and the roots and the foundation, I think that is, very many people today are very much tree and zero foundation.
Yes. And if I can just play on, I love what you said there. The bamboo is very agile, and it's able to be agile because it has those strong roots.
Exactly.
And nowadays, VUCA society, everything's happening so quickly. We need that agility. And my belief is that founders often put too much emphasis on the word resilience. And the word resilience, as most people define it, makes it feel like weather the storm, carry on, no matter what. And to me, that embodies rigidity, which can't move. So that's why I love what you just said there. The deep roots of the bamboo enable it to be agile. The wind comes, it can flow. And we need agility more than ever to boost innovation and to navigate the world that we're living in.
Indeed. Andre here with a wonderful comment. In my experience, and he has a lot of it, a sense of humor is crucial for leadership. Yes, I'll just nod. Yes, we'll have a good episode about that. But yes, and another one. Here's a good one from India. A horse is nothing without its jockey. A company cannot function effectively with the wrong people. Totally. We've seen that again and again and again. We're having some long comments here. A long comment here from Tony as well. The self-awareness. And Sunny, yes, we talked about this. That the whole sort of being grounded, and I think we have such a. When I say to people, I was in the army for 10 years, and they go, were you in the army? I can't imagine you being in the army, because they're all sort of drill sergeant, shut up. And I said, you know what? I was nothing like that. I was quite successful in the army. And one of my biggest prides of my 10 years in the army, twice during my 10 years in the army leading people, only twice did I have to point to my shoulder and say, do as I say, because I've got more gold on my shoulder than you have. Twice. All the other times it was about getting people to do things that they didn't want to do, but in a way that motivated them to get there. And you have to see who you have around yourself and make it work.
Absolutely. And that's where the agility and the playfulness, I think, comes in more than ever. And that's what we underestimate.
Tracy, I love the way you package it. Everyone, Andrea, thank you for adding the link. I'll put it here again. Go to tracyclark.scoreapp.com to find more information and see the Score app as well. Tracy is very active on LinkedIn, so reach out to her on LinkedIn and get in touch and keep the discussion going. You know where to find me. I'm usually on LinkedIn. I'm here every Wednesday at 9 a.m. I'm back next week again. But for now, we are saying thank you so very much to Tracy. And I will also thank everyone online as well. It's been great having you online today. Thank you, Yash from India. Awesome. Donnie, Tracy, thank you very much. Ali, Juma, awesome. And Anna, really great session. And we talked about Let's Go Up the Guard. Wonderful. And thank you very much. Interesting. Good. Nice comment there. And so with that, I will wish you all a fantastic, look, it's a beautiful, beautiful, crisp winter sunny day today. Let's go outdoors and get some fresh air. And thanks, Tracy. Wonderful seeing you.
Thank you. That was just a magical conversation. Really enjoyed it.
Awesome. World's fastest half an hour.
Yes.
There we go.